Welcome back, everyone, and thank you for staying tuned as we are getting into the third round action of the Sunday Semi-Pro Cup Series action. We have, of course, Valiant Armada, the fan favorites in this stream, going up against SNES or SNES, good old console. If any of you were ever able to play one, you should get the chance to. You should do it. And Niz, somebody who probably has played an SNES, joining me as always to give you guys insight in both the draft and the game. And this is going to be one tough match for Valiant Armada and Niz. If it wasn't tough before, this is probably, with no disrespect to any of the other teams, the hardest opponents they've faced so far.
There's Factor Fiction, Tempting Time. These guys are just
this is a stacked team.
Players, man. They're really good players.
Yeah, and Ink Dota, most well known for his Meepo. Tends to play Meepo a lot on his stream. Tends to have a PPD-like effect on his games as well, but we won't go into that. Meepo is a very strong hero, though, in this patch, because not really much changed about Meepo, to be entirely honest with you. Not enough to impact his capabilities. And we could see an Ink Dota Meepo, so if you guys are a fan of Meepo, it might just happen.
London is apparently stuck in 6.80 with these bans. What is this?
Yeah, Ember Spirit at first. That might be a reaction to some of the competitive games we've been seeing in the professional scene. Ember Spirit has gotten pretty popular because the natural duration of the game generally tends towards 5 to 10 minutes longer than it did last patch, which means that there is functionally more farm or time for heroes like Ember Spirit that need it to really get online and do a lot. So where you might have lost or been in a bad position where you were about to get your Battle Fury, in this current patch, you can get your Battle Fury about 5 minutes, maybe 7 minutes before. You have a little more leeway. So we've seen a trend toward those heroes, which makes a lot of sense, obviously, but doesn't necessarily mean that it will go there. Spotify, I can share for you guys. Eventually I can share the playlist and put it out, but all of that stuff of course gets muted in the Twitch VODs, so it's really just there for you. I can link playlist sometime, as I will get on that in the future for you guys, of course, but
10 seconds remaining.
We will see Valiant Armada what they want to do against this Razor, what they think this Razor means, or if they even care. Death Prophet is definitely one good answer to Razor, because yes, they're both heroes that want to stand and fight, but Death Prophet deals more damage more consistently than Razor does, because Razor has a build-up time, and unless Razor gets an advantaged initiation from someone else on his team, then generally speaking the Death Prophet team will win out. But a lot of things can change that. Skywrath Mage, one hero, definitely very good at that, especially by his ability to control the early game laning phase. Omni Knight. Hello, Golden Locks, as Niz would say. Faceless Void will get banned out.
There's a lot of people that really like Omni Knight in this meta, and I don't see it yet, but I like Omni Knight, so we'll have to wait and see how this pans out for them. But there is double silence already on the side of Valiant Armada, so I don't know.
Yeah, but the nice thing about the Omni Knight is if he doesn't get silenced, right, then he can remove a lot of the silences, prevent a lot of the damage from Skywrath, and also Omni Knight really does negate Death Prophet. Also, not really worth a lot of thought, but I find pretty awesome. Ag's Omni Knight heals your towers. There is now 2 tier heroes as of like 6.79 that can heal towers in the game, and Omni Knight is one of them. So tower damage when Omni Knight gets Ags is no longer permanent.
I don't know if you can't rush it. I wonder if Omni they're picking Omni because they know it's strong against Death Prophet. Because I think Omni does fine against Death Prophet. It's kind of weird, but I believe
Right.
Omni wins that matchup.
With good positioning, which you assume that at this level of the tournament so far, we are getting into the higher level of the top. I believe it should be down to 32 teams in the round of 3, and so most of, if not all, these players are going to have that basic level of skill covered. So do you see the tree band out last? That's an interesting decision, because I don't really see SNES going for the tree. It doesn't really fit with their lineup, but there's been a lot of hype around tree lately, and I'm fine with that. I think tree's a great hero, but with that Omni Knight pick, I just feel like they're going to have to pick up an offensive support, if you kind of get what I'm getting at, is because like I don't know if you agree or disagree with that, because like Omni Knight I see as a defensive support. Unless you have an offensive
I think
hero.
he's core. I think he's core.
Oh, you think he's core? You think they're going to do like what Pablo
I
did
think he's
way
mid.
back?
I think he's mid.
That was the time that Pablo beat that Death Prophet with Omni Knight middle that we saw Omni Knight mid, correct?
I believe so.
Yeah, okay. So it can do well in good hands, as that was a relatively even matched up skill-wise in that mid lane, if I recall correctly. Nature's Prophet. So this is shaping up to be a relatively different, interesting game in Spectre. Ooh, what a response! And
Legion Commander.
Oh wow.
It
Okay.
is. I don't even know what to say, man. I don't even know.
Well,
I'm just gonna let you talk, because like this is gonna be an interesting game.
I think Spectre's a crazy hero right now. I don't know about it in this game, but I have no idea what sciencey stuff is even planning, so I can't even read into that. But Legion Commander, well, hopefully Valiant Armada changes my mind and proves to me that Legion Commander is
Seconds remaining.
the hero that everyone's kind of hyping it up to be.
Reserve
But
time.
I haven't seen it
Well,
yet. I haven't seen it.
To be fair, in this
Super.
situation, I don't feel like LC was a good pick. Primarily because of Razor and Omni Knight. You duel a target, right? They purify it, they Guardian Angel it, and then they static link you. And then LC starts to feed damage. So it could come to bite them in the ass. But on the other side of the coin, there's the whole, if LC gets far enough ahead and gets the right
Dire team
movements and plays and executes well to get ganks and get damage, then she can train roll stuff, or train wreck, however you want to say it, roll over. But then there's the Prophet, and I don't really know where that fits in my mind. I guess it adds the global gank. This is something that PyCat and team has done
seconds remaining.
with Team Tinker a lot of the time. They'll do Nature's Prophet, Legion Commander. And obviously that's because you can duel into the global teleport, plus it's vision, so you get the call it Wrath of Nature to help deal damage to assist in the kill. But yeah, Jakiro. Jakiro offers a lot of D-push. He also adds a lot of push to your team.
Radiant team
But again, if Omni Knight is a core, they still need a support. And it doesn't look like Valiant Armada is on the same page as UNIS, or on the same page as SNES, or they're just more concerned of the threat of a Centaur or a potential core pickup rather than a support pickup.
Well, I'm not 100% convinced that it is an Omni mid. I think the potential for it is definitely there, and I think it could have potentially been they could have said, no, we're going to put the Omni Knight mid against Death Prop. They could very well have bailed out of it at this point, but I think it's still okay. However, I still don't know what hero I'd pick to pair up with the Jakiro here. But I think they're actually okay if they put Razor in the off lane, Omni mid, and then Spectre, Jakiro, and X. Well, actually, they could even go aggressive with that. It's kind of weird, but I think they could.
10 seconds
you can't-
remaining.
You could put Spectre solo in the bottom lane.
Not against a Prophet, though.
5 seconds
At least I wouldn't feel
remaining.
comfortable doing that, right? Because he goes boots first. He's just gonna run around.
Spectre was actually run solo mid for a while in China.
Right,
But that's very different.
exactly, and it's generally a situationally based matchup, right? It's like when you pick
Yeah,
the Beastmaster mid, unless you're Zhao 8, you don't pick it consistently. You pick it situationally.
hmm So I think it's still. Because Death Prophet beats Razor, right? So you're not picking. You're not putting your Razor mid. I don't think you're putting your Spectre mid against Death Prophet because I don't see that going well either.
Not if she's a critical farming component, right? Like,
Yeah.
Spectre can still be a mid-game ganking hero. Like, just because Spectre is iconically the hyper carry of hyper carries does not mean she is always a hyper carry. If you build the correct items on her, phase, drums, and then go into like a diffusal rush, you can just fight. Also, EE popularized the build with
Which?
Armlet. And then you can fight once you get your ultimate. You pop Armlet, gives your illusions a buff, plus the Desolate max, which is the standard build. You can fight from that point on. And then the Razor is the primary farmer in a lot of ways to rush that Ags. And Tidehunter is going to be picked up, so Factor Fiction...
It's offlane Tide.
Yeah, every single time I played against Factor Fiction or with him, he's always been an offlane player, so that's probably where that's going. Ink Dota, pretty sure he prefers the carry role, which means we'll be seeing ZYZZ in the middle lane. But for the other side, Valiant Armada, it's going to be interesting to see how they lane it up, because last time, well, let's be honest, they were completely different from the first time. So... we'll wait to see.
Yeah, it seems like the only thing that stays somewhat consistent with their roles is Zealot as support.
Yeah.
Because we've seen Wabu Wabu offlane Brewmaster, and then we saw the Enigma.
10 seconds.
And we've seen Baco go the safe lane. I don't even remember what he played safe lane in the first game, and then he was off lane Silencer last game. Well, we'll have to see.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and start our introductions. Oh my god, I want this Spectre set. With the Radiant side, as we have the SNES. Or is it S? Is it SENS? No,
It's
no.
SENS.
Okay,
It's
no,
SENS.
no.
It's not
no, I'm
SNES.
going with no. That's I
The
copied.
brackets are SENS. You're wrong.
Oh my god, I riot or report. I don't even know, guys. Just coppa the hell out of me in chat as we have SENS, who could have made their name so much more epic on the Radiant side. Factor Fiction picking up the offlane Tidehunter. We have Tempting Time, the yellow player, picking up Jakiro as the support role. We have ZYZZ going to be playing the Razor in the mid role. Ink Dota, or at Ink Dota, going to be picking up the Spectre carry role. And of course that leaves Lumden in the Omni Knight support position.
All right, on the Dire side, we have the fan favorites,
Seconds to battle.
Valiant Armada. Playing the Death Prophet is Poof. Playing the Nature's Prophet is Baku, aka Hannah.
He's jungling.
That's funny. Then we've got Wabu Wabu as the Skywrath Mage. We've got Zealot on the Lich. And we have PB and J on the Legion Commander.
So they're running Skywrath Mage mid, my friend. Factor Fiction might be in trouble here. Doesn't look like too much is going to happen here. Yeah, no.
Offlane Death Prophet.
Biku is gone. Bassi build, and
These guys are so
out of
greedy.
all of the games I've played Nature's Prophet, which is a decent number, you never go Bassi ring first unless you are jungling. You always go boots.
Oh yeah.
So,
It's offlane Death Prophet because boots first.
but and I was gonna ask you, what do you think about this? Because she could be a good offlane hero. I'm surprised teams haven't experimented with this yet.
The problem is if she gets she wants XP, right? So if she gets zoned out and loses her XP, then what? Like, you need the XP. If she can get a good XP lead, and that's why she snowballs so hard, then she becomes like crazy because she wants to be able to get all her first 3 abilities leveled up.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. But
you can't not level Crypt Swarm, you can't not level Witchcraft, and you want Silence leveled. So you've got to get all those levels for her to really, really be strong, and that's why she's so dominant in the mid game.
yeah, no, I agree with that. But do you consider? I mean, I just feel like Crypt Swarm, like if she gets level 3, which generally speaking, you can do. You just stack jungle, clarity her, and she'll get level 5. And then from there, it just becomes increasingly easier, and she can catch up. But I guess there are thresholds to that, right? If you get shut down enough, you're going to have a hard time catching up anyways. But Poof is right now kind of not winning the CS war, but definitely pushing Inkdota back. It will force him to use quite a bit of consumables, but he did go for that PMS build to get quite a few tangos.
They've gone very, very greedy. Valiant Armada has this game. They've gone very greedy, but it's working out for them right now. It really is.
That does not add up. How does he have 8 tangos of his own?
Who?
Something is wrong.
Who?
The Inkdota. Did they change? They didn't change the cost of things that much, did they? I'm not that stupid. PMS.
What do you mean?
PMS plus 8 tangos plus 2 of his own branches does not.
He just completed his PMS.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that. I was like, oh, he walked out. I was like, damn.
That's
Inkdota. I was like, wait a second.
That far up and he
I
was
was like,
getting
wait
right
a
clicks.
second. Okay. Sorry, I just had a moment there. I had a moment where I was just like, whoa.
Yeah,
Well,
everyone's.
Yeah,
200,
that is
300
that is
ping.
pretty much what everyone does. I guess what threw me off is that he went 8 tangos, because I generally like to go the salve, and I see the salve more often than not, because it's more of a salve is basically just the difference between salve and tango, in my opinion, is just one's a get you up quickly because something went wrong, or you got ganked and you need to get back into farming, and tangos are your sustain in the lane, right? So if he gets ganked, he's gonna have to run back to base or eat like 5 tangos to get back up, and that also takes like a full minute where he can get her ass back, negating some of the tangos. So it's an interesting decision. Not right, not wrong, but interesting. But more interesting is this Biko in the jungle. Oh, he's going Dagon build, dude. He is going big, and we're going to call it the Bagon build, as Biko is going the Dagon. Sending out that Null Talisman, which means he's going to be ganking all over the map ASAP, not looking to sit back and really farm at all. He wants to do a lot of damage. I don't know how I feel about that. I guess he could go the Blade Mail build. We'll see if he goes that new triple Null Talisman into Blade Mail into Dagon, or is it triple Null into Dagon into Blade Mail?
No, you get the Blade Mail first.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, because of the stat increase. The 9 strength you get.
I don't think they'll do it this game. I think you want your Nature's Prophet to have more push and right click potential this game. I think that's more important. Because That's tough because of how it's going to interact with the Legion Commander. Do you want the Legion Commander to... I mean, you obviously want to pick someone off, but you've got the Skywrath Mage to work with the Legion Commander to blow someone up. So you don't really need the Furion to have much right-click. Using his ultimate should just be enough to pick someone off. So then I think you want to just be able to push towers on the back of it combined with the Death Prophet. So I think that's the build you go. And you don't go the Null Talisman thing, because that's a much more aggressive gank-oriented build, and I don't think you need that from your Prophet.
Yeah, well, we'll see what he chooses.
We'll see what he chooses, yeah.
It'll be interesting, because I don't know, I don't feel like LC is a great late-game carry in the abstract. She requires she requires duels, victories, to be able to really translate into the late game well. That's kind of the... Wow, that went quick. Proof was once here, now he wasn't. So go ahead and DC. As issues are everywhere, Volvo, please fix. Volvo, please fix. But yeah, Elsie really needs to get a snowball. I think if she goes even footing against most carries into the late game, she's going to lose. And one of those carries is definitely Spectre, and especially when the Spectre has a Razor on his side to drain that damage away. And you know what? I don't know if hopefully you haven't mentioned this, so I don't sound like an idiot double repeating it, but they only have 1 physical damage output. Like, yes, Death Prophet's ultimate, but LC's their only right-click damage. So RaptorZ really doesn't have, like, too much trouble making a decision in a fight. Find static link, or find LC static link, continue to fight.
Yeah, I don't. Oh, okay.
Back in.
The drain is going to be really good, obviously, against the LC because he's a pretty easy target to drain. And press the attack should not remove it.
No, it does not. It's a special thing. It doesn't get removed by any purges.
I mean, that's going to be huge, but you've got to. I don't know. I really don't know. I can't.
Middle
I can't
lane,
envision
first
how
blood
this is
might be
gonna
happening here as ZYZZ does get TP'd in by Biku. Unfortunately, he's only level 2. His jungle progression not going at the speed that it should be going for him to be as effective as they need him to be. But Wabu Wabu does zone back at ZYZZ and will give him somewhat of a level and lane advantage in this situation. And honestly, sometimes it's better to send a hero back than it is to get the kill. Yes, first blood is important, but the amount of time ZYZZ is spending now is less than if he died, bought out, and TP'd back into the lane.
Yeah, but sometimes you don't want to do that.
No, it's almost I'd say let the situation dictate itself, and be happy with either outcome. You're either sending him back to the base, or you're getting a kill. Not a bad choice. You do see Ink Dota is doing pretty well on the CS charts, is sitting at the top. Second is RaptorZ, third is Tidehunter.
Well,
LC
SENS
is close.
is dominating the last hits right now.
Yeah.
They're
Not in a
effectively
big way.
winning every lane, I'd say.
Yeah, not in a big way, but a substantial way.
Even stacking this camp.
In a big way, too. Yeah.
RaptorZ. It's now a triple.
You think Tide farm or RaptorZ farms it? Because his Spectre can't. He's going to go Desolate build.
It's probably
No,
Tide.
he's going interesting. Dota with the dagger build. Definitely not going with the standard. And Biku does snap up that DD. That'll accelerate his jungle farm a little bit more. Bounty Rune in the bottom lane. Not entirely sure what's going on here. Wabu Wabu is just kind of standing around while Biku is farming his lane. Unfortunately for Valiant Armada, it seems like lag has finally caught up to them, as things are not going so well in this laning phase. PBJ kind of losing pretty hard against this Tide, and I don't think he should. An interesting build out of Factor Fiction. He feels incredibly confident in this lane. Like, you do not skip Kraken Shell unless you are incredibly confident. And I mean, with the Jakiro backing you up, like, I guess you don't have any reason to not be confident against a melee hero, but interesting. Middle lane, decent amount of action, but not going to amount to any kill, as we do see the static link getting him.
You can't
quite
dive
a
against a
bit.
Furion.
No, you cannot. But Poof has been getting a lot in this bottom lane. He's not really been zoned at all, just like Tidehunter has been getting a lot. Poof's been getting more. Well, not CS-wise, but level-wise.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's because he's...
Solo.
Yeah, he's sharing
Wow,
the
screen all over the
XP
place.
with Jakiro. I really think they're gonna rotate this Tide down.
Oh,
and
Wabu
pick up
Wabu
this
with
stack.
the... Oh, it's going to be the first blood as ZYZ. Able to get the plasma field and the right click. I feel like Skywrath Mage should have taken his chances with the max min damage than with running back into it to take the right click, but Zealot might be in trouble. Or Zealot, sorry. I always want to call it Zealot because that's what I called it in StarCraft 1 as a speech-impaired child. You're not allowed to make fun of me, chat, Kappa. But we do have a Legion Rune bottom for Biku. I see that was kind of nifty of him. Stealing the
I think
bounty rune,
everyone has a
TPing
kid
bottom.
called Zealot.
Yeah, it's definitely
Zealot.
it's definitely a Zealot because it's from the word zeal. Zealous.
Zealot.
A Zealot. Yep. Or it can be Zealot. Whatever. Doesn't matter. I'm wrong. One of the
No
things
one will ever know.
no one will ever know whether or not RaptorZ was right or wrong as a child. But what we do know
Oh,
is
pressure.
that it's 1-0.
Bottom.
Yeah, it is maybe gonna mount to a kill.
Wow.
Loom done taking quite a bit of damage. Sorry for the brief chop there, guys, as he does take that damage from the Mystic or sorry, from the Arcane Bolt. The last one going to chase. I believe it's going to do enough. 135 damage does secure that kill with 40 damage of overkill, but overkill is a kill, and that's all that matters, as the scoreboard does go 1-1. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Tempting Time getting chased down by PBJ. TP from Furion going to get cancelled, as it doesn't look like they really want to go on this. And you know what? The one thing that's really surprising me right now is that I don't think this Lich has done as much as he should in this lane, right? Like, shouldn't Lich dominate more than a Jakiro dominates with a Tidehunter? But before you speak, PBJ in trouble. The chase continues. There's the blast coming out from Zealot, whatever, to go ahead and zone him back. We do see the Prophet Ultimate bouncing on through, doing quite a bit of damage. 277 HP on the Tidehunter. There's the Purification to heal up Jakiro as that Liquid Fire hits on a ton, but that Overwhelming Odd hits on even more. And now Tide is in trouble. Lich did go down in the meanwhile, but Poof is here. Ink Dota did re-materialize in to get that kill on Lich, but I think this is going to turn into a team wipe as 4 heroes are down. Winner for PBJ as he gets a dual win, and in the end, 4 heroes fall. ZYZZ, the only one living on his side, as Valiant Armada takes a great fight in the top lane.
Holy crap. Valiant Armada doesn't give a shit what the last hits are right now. They're just going to come in and kill you. That was awesome.
Overwhelming Odds is one hell of a spell. That hit 3 heroes and did ridiculous damage.
Wow. They're not going to be able to get a tower on the back of this. You're going to deal some damage to it, but they won't be able to get a tower. But that's
drums off the back of that. Oh, concussive shot. ZYZ in the middle lane might be in trouble. There's also the teleport sprout and then the Mystic Flare. So ZYZ falls as well. Maybe Skywrath Mage will die, but Wabu Wabu able to run away, as he has a race car base movement speed, not to mention the boots. But Niz, this is some great movement coming out of Valiant Armada as they are looking to kind of dissect the setup of SENS. Oh, bottom lane. A lot of movement. Looks like Ink Dota is all alone, and they're kind of all just 1 by 1 right now. The question is, can they catch out Ink Dota? The answer is probably no, as he is running through the trees here, but now Poof, he is probably going to be able to get in range here soon. Pops the drums. There is the Arcane Bolt to chase. They won't be able to get the duel off in time. Overwhelming Odds dealing some amount of damage as Ink Dota drops down to 350, but important to note, Ink Dota is not farming. 2 heroes in the top lane will siege down this top tower. Of course, one of them is Zealot. Anyways, Dark Jakiro going to deal quite a bit of damage to this top tower with that Liquid Fire, but yeah, it will probably go down with this push out of the Valiant Armada squad in the bottom lane. There's really not any hope for them to defend this top tower.
I gotta tell you, Valiant Armada was not looking good in the laning phase there. They were definitely falling further and further behind as the laning phase went on and on. And then all of a sudden, the early mid-game transition hit, and now they're looking real good.
Oh, 3 heroes versus 3 heroes, as we have some Tide TPing, and we'll pop the 1 charges, and now he's going to pop the Ravage. Biko is all alone and is probably going to die here. And meanwhile, the Lich did die in the middle lane to Ink Dota as he was low health trying to run away. Gets reality on and does die. Now he's going to TP away to safety. And also, Skywrath Mage going to be able to get a mega kill as he goes 5-1-1-1. Cleaning up the Jakiro easily in the top lane by himself with that Mystic Flare, as it does a ludicrous amount of damage when you can get it on 1 hero in the early game. Especially when you put him mid lane. The Skywrath Mage has insane levels for where you would normally see a Skywrath Mage, and we're going to be hitting the level 11 Mystic Flare very soon.
Yeah, he's starting to snowball. And Wabu Wabu bringing the plays again to this game. They could be really close to catching that courier, but unfortunately he does miss it.
And he is going to triple no talisman build, my friend. He has decided to go for it, so we'll see if he goes for Blade Mail or Dagon first, whether he goes standard or variation. And not too much else going on. Ink Dota definitely doing well on the CS, but Tide is doing by far the best. It's probably time to switch over the net worths, as we see 4.5, 4.14, and then 3.9 as the top 4 farmers. Relatively close race right now, but only 1 hero in the top 4 for the Dire.
But net worth doesn't matter when you're losing team fights.
True that, as it was. That's back and forth right now, as now SENS has been able to recollect the lead of this game as far as the data shows us. Whether or not that means they actually have a lead is a lot of other factors. Tidehunter nearby. Factor Fiction and Poof running right by each other. Not going to even see each other. The question is Ink Dota going to die here? He does have access to that dagger Helps out a lot. But Poof's just going to casually pop the ultimate. They don't really care about Ink Dota, I don't think. I think they're more concerned about getting this tower down, and they will. TP is cancelled. Ink Dota is going to be able to TP out before anything happens.
That was a wasted exorcism. The tower's falling without exorcism. They really didn't need to do that. They could have popped exorcism in response to a bunch of TPs. I don't think the exorcism actually did any damage to towers there.
No, I definitely agree with you there. And that stack was cleaned up a while ago, so there's not too much stacking in the jungle for them to steal. Factor Fiction did use that stack to get his arcane. Boots online, running over does see Biko, will get the gush off, does have Ravage now, just came off cooldown, gets sprouted in. Biko, a little bit of a misplay there. Doesn't use the Ravage though. Which is probably the smart decision in the end. He wouldn't have had any way to continue and kill him. Ravage is a decent damage spell, but not that amazing. And without the Exorcism Niz, I feel like this is a optimistic push at best. ZYZ gonna run in the Mystic Flare off the mark, not doing too much. Wabu Wabu actually gets slowed more than he does with that Arcane Bolt. ZYZ now the Chain Frost dealing a ton of damage. Loomed in will fall. Ink Dota gonna go ahead and pop that ultimate, doing quite a bit of damage. Gonna chase down onto Biko. Wabu Wabu does get an unstoppable streak, and there's the duel onto Ink Dota. Can they get the kill on him? They do. PBJ gets the kill. A little bit of over-aggression there, and they still have the Ravage, but they haven't used it yet. Ravage does finally go off. Hits on 2 as the Lich will fall, and so will the LC. Wabu Wabu will be the last one surviving, and so overall, SENS getting the numbers advantage in trade. But was it enough, Niz? I mean, they did get the tower too. They lost their Spectre.
Yeah, well, I think it's a definite advantage to SENS there. But these fights, they're really hard to read and who's winning as it first starts out. Obviously, SENS was chasing down Valiant Armada there, and then all of a sudden the Lich came in, and Zealot's going to throw out his Chain Frost. And unfortunately, it didn't do a ton of damage because one of the targets was, of course, repelled. So it wasn't dealing any damage, but it did allow them to get the kill on Lumdun, which obviously helped as they went forward in the team fight. And then Ink came in, and Ink got blown up immediately. He was actually caught in the duel, so Legion Commander did get 10 damage on the back of duel. But then, of course, they lost Legion Commander. They ended up losing 4 heroes in total, I believe, and the tower. So, 2 heroes for the cost of 4 heroes in a tower is rough, even though you are killing the Spectre. But Spectre is not rushing Radiant, so it's not the biggest thing in the world for him to have died.
No.
Factor Fiction, he's very close to blink here. This could be big if he dies.
Yeah, they will throw him up in the air with the Yules, and I think he's going to die here. He doesn't have access to Anchor Smash, the Ravage, and he will go down. Skywrath Mage does get up his 600 gold streak to ZYZ, but the question is, will PB be able to get anything else here? The Purification dealing ridiculous damage as ZYZ does get that double kill. Cleaning up 3 heroes total on the side of Valiant Armada as they're forced to retreat here. Exorcism not that effective at the end of it all. Actually, Ink Dota doesn't quite want it to end here. He's going to rematerialize, aka Reality, onto Lich. Will get the kill with that dagger now. Poof pursuing him. Will they be able to catch him? I don't think so, as they of course don't have any disables. The only one who does have one, actually 2 do. But yeah, that change definitely. Oh, that doesn't count. Doesn't show me the other one as a big exchange.
I'm taking a look at the net worth graph here, and SENS definitely pulling out to a lead, and I feel like it's almost even bigger than that right now. I feel like Valiant Armada is just, they're getting their pick-offs, but I feel they're just kind of getting overrun in team fights, and I don't know how that stops. Maybe they just need Poof to be a bigger threat in the team fight, so as the Death Prophet. But of course, if you want your Death Prophet to be a huge force, and you think it's a really pivotal part in your draft and your strategy, then you probably shouldn't put it in the off lane. But we'll have to see what they do to get Poof in this game, because Poof really doesn't have anything at all. Voidstone, 1600 gold, so I guess somewhat close to whatever that item's called, Cyclone.
Yule Scepter of Divinity. The award happening in the bottom section of the map. But yeah, and I kind of tend to agree with you, Niz, but on your point, I've noticed that Poof has not really been participating in the fights necessarily. He's been pushing the towers, because the fight was over here, and he was pushing the tower with Exorcism, so they haven't really had Exorcism in a fight. We'll see if that changes
Well,
here.
they're
They
gonna
are
have it
going to
here.
engage. Yeah, Poof taking quite a bit of damage. They don't have a mechanism, to my knowledge. The Chain Frost is bouncing around, but honestly, the damage is going to go to ZYZ, and with that triple kill Ravage, Factor Fiction is going ham. Going to push down this middle lane. They want to take another tower on top of this, I'm sure, as of course they have that gem on someone. Or no, Sentry Ward in the area. Sorry, Sentry Ward just slightly in range of that ward. We'll clean it up.
Middle tower is
Now they'll be able to get this tower.
ZYZ even won the duel there.
Yeah, that was icing on the cake. But what a Ravage from Factor Fiction. What a Ravage.
He just jumped right in there, ravaged, killed off the Death Prophet, and then went straight to mowing down the Lich. Cleaned up 2 kills there, but that Ravage definitely won his team the team fight.
Yep. I completely agree with you. And off the back of great play from Tide, they do take that fight, they take the tower, and this game goes way in their favor.
Who finishes his Yules right now? Had he had that team fight, I think it would have been completely different, because you don't die to Tide there.
bottom tower is under attack.
You know, you're Yulesed up in the air, you don't even get hit by Ravage, ideally, and that fight's very, very different. Do you win it? I don't think your team actually wins that fight, but it still gives you a much better chance at coming out in a better position than you were without it. So, Mech picked up by Tempting Time. I almost called him Tides of Time. Tempting Time on the Jakiro.
Yeah, it's starting to get to that point, Niz, where we're looking at the face of doom for Valiant Armada. 14k experience advantage, 7k gold, but it is, remember, 6.82. If they win one team fight, and it's a 5-man wipe where all of them participate in it, and most of them survive, they will be caught back up in a huge way. They will become rich, they will have more options, more potential to execute, and that could turn the game around for them, but we'll see if that happens.
Yeah, it has been patched a few times since 6.82 had originally came out. But there definitely is still a comeback mechanic in 6.82 that we haven't seen in Dota for quite some time. So it'll be interesting to see what they plan to do. I feel like they need to be snowballing much harder. I feel like almost all the heroes on their team are snowball related, and they haven't snowballed anywhere near as hard as they need to.
Yeah,
They're just falling further and further behind.
It feels like they're getting dictated. Like they're the ones getting pushed around, as Jakiro does get the last hit on that tower in the bottom lane, and they're actually going to force multiple TPs. But yeah, moments like that, it just feels like Valiant Armada is letting SENS dictate the pace of this game. And easier said than done. Maybe in the middle lane, ZYZ going to kill Biko. Most likely here is, yeah, he does get a lot of damage from the static link, and that's a dominating ownage sounded. But yeah,
that's his eggs.
They're just letting them dictate the pace of this game, and it's hard to change that when you're in the game. But it just sucks. And I wish I could explain that better, but it's just really hard for Valiant Armada because they're not making plays. They're reacting and then making plays, but they're not making plays to dictate how the game breaks down. But this smoke could change that.
It's hard because a lot of the early game they were just falling behind, and they made some good transitions that really helped them. But even when they weren't team fighting and when they weren't winning those team fights, they just were slowly falling further and further behind on the map. They were just less efficient overall than SENS was. And that's the little things like the stacking and stuff that Razor was doing in the middle lane. He was actually trying to stack 2 camps at once. I saw him fill it just once, but still, stacking those camps goes a long way to helping some hero on your team. I didn't actually even see who cleared those stacks, but it helps those heroes get back in the game.
Relic picked up by Spectre a little bit ago. Now 700 gold on top of it, so Radiance, my friend. Radiance on Spectre, and that's one hell of an item, and all of them are kind of reliant on being able to spread out in the fight and kind of kite them around. And I know that neither of the teams are thinking about the game on this high of a level, but Spectre eats lineups like that alive. And SENS didn't necessarily draft that intentionally, but the way the Valiant Armada needs to play these fights out to win is to stay spread out, not get grouped up and get ravaged. And that means Spectre spreads, gets a lot of good right clicks with Desolate, as well as that Radiance burn, and is going to be able to clean up heroes easily on the periphery. And if they group up, well, hello Ravage. So definitely a very strong draft out of SENS, coming together quite nicely for them.
Well, then on top of that, Lumdun is working towards getting his Ag Scepter. He's about halfway there, but still, once GA gets up and it's global, that means they're going to be able to defend towers, so Valiant Armada can't even really try to rush towers down and then pull back or something like that.
Or chip at them either.
Yeah, they can't do any of that. And on top of that, SENS can be completely spread out, chasing people down and killing people as their lineup is...
Oh, Poof might be in the wrong place the right time. Dagger. Or wrong time. Dagger does hit. But he is press the attack, sorry. Does debuff that as well as heal him up.
Yeah, once Guardian Angel essentially becomes global, doesn't matter how spread out you are, it doesn't matter what your positioning is as Omni Knight. So that means he can be real safe. And I don't see a hero on Valiant Armada that can even really pick up a Diffusal to counter that.
Well, that being said, I don't even think they can focus down any of these heroes individually. They are so much squishier and weaker on their side. The middle has under 800 HP because there was a Skywrath Mage. Their support Lich has 700 HP. Their Prophet barely over 1,000. Death Prophet not even over 1,000, and LC barely over 1,200. And if you go to the side of the Radiant, Jakiro's already over 1,000. Their weakest, squishiest hero is a Jakiro.
They're rotating up to defend this top tower right through
This
a
is
wood.
going to be a big fight, guys. This Blink Ravage from Factor Fiction actually hits on the entire side of Valiant Armada, and that's going to spell the end of this fight, if not the end of this game, as the pursuit goes out by Factor Fiction and Ink Dota. Dominating spree for Factor Fiction, as that Ravage was on point. Clean play, clean victory, as SENS looks to take this one home and move on to the round of 4.
It's not the round of 4 already, is it?
I think so. I mean, it's already in the round of 5 for some people, or 6. Yeah, 5, sorry. No, you're right. It's round of 3. No, yeah, it's round of 4. I'm right. You're right. I'm right.
Round 4.
I'm right that you're wrong, that I'm right. So, deal with it, Niz. Eat it. Alright, as reducing the Mystic Flare.
They're going to defend the racks
Fly on
there.
the ground. That is important, but... Duels into the air on Ink Dota. I guess I'll hold that thought, as Wabu Wabu is going to fall on the background. An Ice Path might as well be a Ravage coming out of Tempting Time, as this Jakiro play is great to watch. A great dual breath. Ink Dota just going ham, and GG. Well played. GG, GG, GG. Kappa HD. We see Valiant Armada take it with... Or sorry, Valiant Armada take it. SENS take it with a 26-10 kill lead at the end of it. When it's all said and done, over 20,000, over 30,000 experience. Dominating performance, Niz. What do you want to say?
I know it wasn't solely the LC pick, but I'm not convinced. Someone please show me the way. Show me the Legion Commander that's so dominant, because I haven't seen it yet. I've run around in pubs and demolished kids with Legion Commander, but it's a very different and competitive game. So I don't see it yet, but SENS bringing the game and just basically running over Valiant Armada. They, like I said, they did well early with the rotations in that transition from early to mid game. But outside of that, SENS was just so much more efficient on the map. And then once the full-scale team fight started forming, then SENS was just winning them and coming out ahead in almost every single time.
Yep, no, I completely agree with that. And we'll see if anyone can actually pull out an LC and do anything with it. But until then, we'll be going to the waiting screen and some music, guys. If you enjoyed this cast, please follow below on Twitch TV/DotaRaptors on that little follow button. If you want to watch these casts later on your own leisure, you can always check out all of the VODs at youtube.com/DotaRaptors. And finally, but most importantly, if you enjoy listening to Niz and you want to follow Niz himself, check him out at all of his media outlets at /NizCast for YouTube and Twitch, and of course at NizCast for his Twitter. But that'll be it, guys, for us. We'll be kicking it to the waiting screen, and we'll be seeing you guys with round 4 action.